think about it, right? Like at a World Cup, I'm sitting there like in Brazil, and you just have people from Chile, from Australia, from Portugal, from Canada, United States.
Yeah.
They can't even speak the same language, but like they can talk soccer. Like I can somehow it's like a universal language. It's
That's
it's
so
just
funny. The lingo,
it's
yeah.
crazy. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy, man.
And that's I'm happy we had this talk about the what soccer has brought for a lot of people and nationalities, because that was my mission when I wrote this film, this little film here, Beautiful. Even the visuals, what I wanted to capture is, I explained to you at first, we were joking around. I was like, oh, I want to make you look like, the best soccer player or whatever. But I also, at my heart, I always believe in having a story first, right? So for me, I wasn't too crazy about, oh, you need to do this trick and like do a scissor kick and whatever. It was more about, what is the essence of the sport? And that, like you said, the universal language is a universal game, and everybody knows it as beautiful. And it's so funny because I wrote it with that perception. I played soccer when I was very, very young, but I never had it as associated in my life as you did. But I still know the appreciation people have for it. So when I wrote "beautiful" at the end, I remember even asking him like, "Yo, you think people will get that, right?" Like, "Yeah, beautiful game. You kidding me? Fine. They better get that, right?" So I just knew I had something going, and I was so thrilled that you approved of the story, man. Like someone coming from your field.
I couldn't have asked for like a better, like, you could have asked me to do other things, and I would have been like, yeah, yeah, maybe,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
that's just I don't have to act, right? I'm just doing me, and it's crazy. I think the reason why soccer is like the beautiful game, that's what they call it,
yeah.
is because it's really the poor man's game. Like it's something that can be played in any corner of the world. Like it's difficult for countries, like poor countries to play hockey where you need an
Of
ice
course.
rink, you need skates, you need gear, you need sticks, or football where you need the helmet, the pads. Soccer's a game that you don't need to play with anybody. You can be by yourself. You can have a ball. You don't need a net. You can just do keep ups and enjoy yourself. But more importantly, it's the idea that like it's the simplest game that can bring everyone together. It's just the bare simple foundations of sport of competition.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
and what better formula, right? All you need is your buddies or people, right? You can grab any object, put two devices parallel apart, make an opening for a net, and then a ball. That's it. And some people in some countries probably don't even use a rubber ball. They just use an object that rolls around
Yeah,
roughly,
and
right?
even exactly, and you don't even like what I was trying to say was too is like you don't even really need a net. You don't even really need other people. Like for basketball, like you can't just bounce a ball around and like you need a hoop. You get right.
Yeah,
What I'm trying
that
to say
makes
is that
sense.
there's
Yeah.
you can walk in the street and I see somebody kicking a ball against the wall and that they're playing soccer and they're
Yeah,
having a
you're right.
blast.
You're right. I love it.
You
Or
know what
doing
I mean?
keep
It's
ups. That's a big thing, right? Yeah.
exactly. So it's really like this. It can bring you so much joy from the littlest thing. Like it doesn't require anything, and it can just bring you so much happiness.
And that's something that I can, well, I can't relate to, but I think with admire, because with hockey, I should say, I played hockey was more my soccer. I played it my whole life, and the family I grew up in, they talked about hockey all the time, and they played it more advanced levels too. My cousins. But with hockey, kind of like with filmmaking, you need a location, you need a team, you need a setting, yeah, and you need a shit ton of equipment. That is expensive, I should mention. Like skates alone are like $200-300,
Sure. 100%.
right? And then you got to consider the pricing of the other gear, right? And you need that gear. It's not like you can skip it and say, I don't need it, don't worry about it, right? Like soccer, right? Shin pads, you could skip that if you're really
Oh,
brave
of
like that.
course.
I would never
Yeah.
skip them, or or a jock or a cup. But people do it, let's be honest. And obviously they play maybe barefoot. But at the same time, it's just there's more flexibility in that. And I think that's what something, like you said, you can admire. And that's something that I should mention also your brother. I remember like in grade 6 when I was 12, and like the World Cup, that's 2006 in Germany when Italy won. Like who could forget that? It's ingrained in my mind because I've never had more of an exhilarating. I never looked forward to going to school so much more in my life. Like all of the month of June. All right, I think yeah, right.
Yes, yes,
Every
yes.
day, even the teachers were, because it's a predominantly Italian community, right? We live in. Everyone was involved. Like everyone, the teachers were bringing in the TVs. Like that's how cooked they were. Because usually teachers are like, "Nah, we're not watching this. Like you guys got to focus, whatever."
Of course. I
Everyone was
remember that
meeting up
too.
in the gymnasium. Like we were just kill.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what a great summer! One of my best memories of my life. But I just remember before that, in anticipation for it, this is probably like my first World Cup experience. I should be,
Yeah. For a lot of us too,
admit.
right? Yeah.
No, yeah, because I never really cared for it before. But I remember Mark. Like I was always joking around about hockey and things like that. and he says, wait till the World Cup, because you have to understand this isn't, a few cities, maybe a few country, Russia, Canada, US. Imagine like the whole world, like everyone in some ways connected to this game. And he was right. When we watched that game, man, even if you weren't Italian, Portuguese, one guy's from Australia, one guy knows a dad from England, like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
literally,
Or my
literally.
my cousin's married a half Swede, so I'm cheering for Sweden. Like
South
a
America,
crazy
yeah,
amount of
like
stories.
yeah,
Yeah, people with flags racing through the streets. You don't see that when the people are doing the playoffs and the Stanley Cup. And another thing I learned about the World Cup is what makes it so much of a special event. It's held every 4 years,
yeah. That's another
right?
thing.
It makes it sacred in that way, right? Like when it does come around, you better be there, better be ready, right?
Exactly, man. It's like the once every 4 years is a great touch. I think the only other thing that does that is the Olympics, right? Um,
Yeah. But the Olympics is
it just
like so many sports, so it's not even as concentrated, But it's just not the same feeling for me, I guess, because there's so many activities and sports happening. Some sports people don't even consider sports. So there's
exactly,
just so
yeah.
much happening, right? But I just love the idea that the whole world is focused on one sport and they're trying to be the best at this one sport. It really is a universal game. It's crazy.